Hello and welcome to Armchair Devs, Kiwami. As you know, Armchair Devs is a series where our contestants come together to reboot a famous franchise that might be stagnant. The Kiwami episode for today has a special distinction though. Our contestants have headed in with no idea what game they will be rebooting. Please join us as three men are shot in the dark in this episode of Armchair Devs, Kiwami. Hello everyone and welcome to Armchair Devs, Kiwami, episode 3. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and today we are blessed with not 3, but 4 guests. Today, our candidates are Dr. Aggro from Dr. Aggro.
I am the one that he has said.
Mr. Feel for Mr. Feel's Wild Ride.
Hello, it's me again.
KZ from KZExcellent.com.
I'm scared.
And Bob.
I'm very good at this.
From GigaBoots. For those who don't know, the distinction of Armchair Devs, Kiwami, is that these contestants do not know what game they will be making a pitch for. And I am about to reveal what it is. Unfortunately, they have to decide as a group which of these 3 letters to go with.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I hate you.
God damn it.
Combining the best of randomized results and democracy.
C.
Gentlemen, you have 3 letters, A, B, and C. You need to vote now.
C.
That's 1 vote for C.
Well, I mean, KZ said feel twice, so I think if we go with C, morally, whatever happens is his fault.
Okay, you're right. Let's all go C.
Fine, sure.
Oh, no!
Bring it on.
KZ,
Yes.
what have you done?
Oh, no!
The theme for this episode of Armchair Devs Kiwami may be the bottom of the deepest pit on Earth.
Oh, no!
Damn it, KZ.
I just picked C because it's cock.
The theme for today's episode of Armchair Devs Kiwami is destroy someone's childhood.
Oh, no!
Your pitch must be so powerful and heinous and contrary to the point of an entire franchise that it eviscerates someone's childhood from ever being. How much time do I...
That's all I fucking do.
This is impossible!
Aggro's like, why must I kill?
I've already done that so much. What else can I do?
Why do you keep asking me to do this?
I'm going to give my contestants 2 minutes to deliberate on their pitches.
God, this is fucking hard.
Okay, and that's time. How are we feeling about our pitches? We feeling like someone on GameFAQs is making a giant threat?
I'm ready.
Excellent.
I'm gonna fucking cause a war crime.
That's what I want to hear.
I prepared my magnum.
Oh, no.
That's too small caliber for this, KZ.
KZ Feel's pitch is so powerful in his opinion, he has to fire the trailer at the internet on a boat so that way it can deal with the recoil of just unleashing this trailer.
We're developing this game on an offshore oil rig so nobody can try and fuck with us.
Oh, no!
Developer Sans Frontier. Okay, well then. Feel's feeling so confident. We're going to start with him. Feel, you have 15 seconds to do your elevator pitch. Start
15?
whenever.
15?
Start
Used to be
whenever.
20.
Why did you cut it into a fourth?
That's not a fourth. I didn't give you fuckers a minute.
Kirby Experiment K is a psychological horror adventure game power fantasy and a reboot of the Kirby franchise. In this game, you play as Experiment K, a nightmarish biological weapon designed to infiltrate any gap and devour others, subsuming their consciousness and being into a horrific well of your own perpetually shifting self. Devour and kill through this 35-hour-long cinematic adventure to explore the cycle of violence.
Holy shit! Oh, my God. Oh.
Call a doctor.
Okay, Sean, just gotta take some notes.
Is that what that's like?
I don't think anyone's broken the sound barrier with a
Jesus.
pitchfork.
Okay. Thank you very much for your pitch, Mr. Feel. I can see the pitchforks in the horizon already. We're going to go ahead and go to KZ next. KZ, you have 15 seconds.
I hate you, mother. It was 30 seconds in the other episodes, but fine. You want to shoot me? Just shoot me. We're continuing the train of Final Fantasy remakes with a brand new announcement. We're bringing out the classic SNES classic RPG to the next generation with modern sensibilities and a timeless new art style. Get ready for Final Funko Fantasy 6.
Oh.
I started preemptively writing into my notes. It's Mystic Quest.
Yeah, that's where I thought that was going.
Shit. Okay, Final Fantasy Funko 6.
No, it's Final Funko Fantasy 6.
Oh, good. We don't even want those two words anywhere near each other. Oh, my God. Of course. Thank you. Thank you very much, KZ. Bob, we can go ahead and take yours next. You have 15 seconds. Start whenever you're ready.
Pikachu has a gun. in the survival horror gritty reboot of Pokemon, there are only 15 Pokemon left alive in the world.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe the 15-second thing's a better idea. It's much more desperate and awful.
Okay, hang on. Discord ate some of that. Did this motherfucker just open with Pikachu has a gun?
Yes. The dead speak.
Oh my God.
Pikachu has a gun and is in Fortnite. Promoting his new game. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Dr. Aggro, you have 15 seconds to do what you do.
Oh, God damn it. I am so scared of this room.
Start whenever you're ready.
Echo the Dolphin, Unfamiliar Seas is a coming-of-age narrative visual novel about growing up, finding yourself, and slowly transforming from a human teenager into an aquatic mammal.
The 13th year.
Can I get that title one more time?
Echo the Dolphin, Unfamiliar Seas.
That actually seems pretty on point.
Oh my God. It's fucked up because Sega's licensing out IPs that this might happen.
Dan, please tell us about the Echo the Dolphin patch.
Okay. I have plenty of questions to ask all of you. Oh, man, it's a good thing we have such condensed pitches here. You know, I'm going to have to pour at least a cup of water into decondense these. Look, your pitches are like I just chugged a fucking can of cream of mushroom straight from the can.
Tasty.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. It's real gross though. Anyways, we're gonna start with KZ. KZ, tell me Final Fantasy. Sorry, I keep trying to make it a part of that franchise. That's a very good part of your title that people want to say it's Final Fantasy Funko, but no, the Funko's right there in the middle, and I like that a lot. What a nightmare. Tell me, does Kefka's final form get a Funko, and how many Funkos will be made based on this game that is Funko versions of that game?
137.
But how many are exclusives and to which stores?
His question, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. 15 to Best Buy, 20 to Circuit City, which is really strange because Circuit City's gone. 30 to Walmart. And the rest to GameStop, which seems like a bad idea.
Oh, man. I don't know. They're basically Funko repositories already, so that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one that is exclusive to the last Blockbuster?
Yes, that's where we're putting Gao, because no one likes Gao.
Oh, poor Gao. Okay, thank you for answering my question so thoroughly. Dr. Agro.
Uh-huh.
I hate that I'm asking this.
So do I.
In the framework of the narrative,
Mm-hmm.
is the transformation from human teenager into a dolphin seen as something spiritual and holistic, or some sort of body horror and terrible? And how do other beings in this world perceive this act?
Well, how the transformation is perceived by the main character, really a lot of that is dependent upon player choices during dialogue sequences. The rest of the characters in the narrative just sort of ignore it and brush it off in a very incredibly ham-fisted Kafka. We're calling it an homage.
I was wondering how far in this we would get before you said Kafka. Okay.
We're not getting 30 seconds into the game before at least 2 Kafka books are seen on a shelf.
I knew it. Okay. Fucking of course. Of course. Of course.
That's how you know it's smart. I can tap my forehead to that.
Very.
It's like how Romeo and Juliet is on the bedside in Twilight.
That's
It's like poetry.
It's very Kafka-esque. Thank you, Dr. Agro. Bob,
Yeah.
this may be the single most important question I can ask you about your game. I'm going to need you to list all 15 Pokemon that remain in the world.
You asked for it.
All right. Let me count these off.
Okay.
Geodude. Rattata.
Uh-huh.
Absol.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Basically, Ghastly,
Okay.
Haunter. We're getting the whole set of 3 because, it's dark.
Oh, okay. Okay. No Gengar, though?
Well, yeah, he's part of the set. So, yeah, Gengar's in there
Okay,
too.
Gengar.
Gengar's in there, too.
All right, that's 6.
That's 7.
Oh.
Assuming
yeah.
Pikachu has a gun and is real.
Yeah, I guess a Pikachu counts. Pikachu is one
Okay,
of
that's
them.
7. All right, we're about halfway there.
There aren't any Raichus left, just so everyone knows.
Okay.
Abra.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that checks out. See, people in the audience were like, what a simple question to hand Bob. And it's like there are over 800 Pokemon or some shit. Bob's going to shit a brick, dude.
Yes. Bidoof.
I was about to
Mareep.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. God, there's so many.
This is Bob's own survival horror
Just pick
moment.
something.
Now, see, the rest of his pitch is dependent on him not needing another Pokemon for a detail.
Deerling.
What? No, that's not. One moment.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, God.
What about
That
Graveler?
moment.
Skidoo.
Man, totally forgot about Deerling from 5th Gen. Skidoo.
Put Seismitoad in, you coward.
No, he's too OP. What's Voltic?
A Voltic. Oh, that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Impidimp.
Voltic. There we go.
Oh man, you're right. Impidimp has to be alive. He can't escape.
Yeah.
How many we at?
You're at
One more. Gotta be a banger.
It's Zemnis. Zerny is God.
That's exempted for Kingdom Hearts, Bob.
Fucking eyes.
He's a Pokemon.
Zemnis.
Zemnis, darkness, Zemnis.
If anyone wants to drop Xerneas with Zemnis' zebra coat, that's pretty good.
That would be fantastic.
Those antlers on him are essential. It's part of the look.
It's a shame that we didn't get Solosis or Musharna or any of those. That would
Or Intalion.
yeah.
No,
it's
they
a
all
shame.
died out. I'm sorry.
We have Rattata though.
Toxicity.
Rattata and Bidoof are really strong.
Or the sword Pokemon, so it could like block the gun.
Yes.
No, every metal Pokemon was rusted away.
Oh.
Dark.
That's one moment. Every metal Pokemon. God, fuck it. I scrolled down in my notes. Kafka-esque. This sucks. Mr. Feel.
Yes.
This is a preamble question. What is the name of your game again?
Kirby Experiment K.
Oh, okay. That's I wrote the name of the main character, Experiment K, but
You're right. This is gonna be fucking awful.
okay. So, you said your game goes into exploring the cycle of violence, right?
Yes.
Are you playing as Experiment K, and how does this perspective portray the cycle of violence? Is this some sort of like pulp movie where it's glorified, or is it a very visceral retelling or explanation of the cycle of violence?
Let me read exactly what we will be saying to the press during the entire development and marketing cycle of this game. It's about the cycle of violence. We really think this is about the cycle of violence. When you get right down to it, our game is about the cycle of violence.
Make sure to get that all down.
Well, thank you, Feel. I learned so much about your game from from that. I really appreciate it.
Don't worry, if you missed it, every review will also reiterate it's about the cycle of violence.
Well, that means you're doing your job correctly.
All right, who wins?
Gentlemen, you have 1 second to tell me why your pitch should win.
Oh, good, I can get this entire page and a half in during that.
Oh my god. Don't do it. Don't try it, Anakin.
He does time stop.
Stop.
Bob, we're coming back to you.
Sure.
I gotta ask you.
Uh-huh.
Your mode of playing the game in this survival horror sort of game,
Yeah.
this gritty survival horror game, is it like Rust, where it's a multiplayer thing, or are we going for low rank creepypasta?
It's very akin to Resident Evil 4.
I'm gonna need you to explain.
Well,
Yep.
Pikachu walks around. He has to worry a lot about his ammo reserves because he has a gun, as I've mentioned before. He's also been redesigned by Rob Layfield.
You bastard.
Oh, no.
And he's fighting zombie Pokemon. The Pokemon I mentioned before are the ones that are still alive.
Oh my god.
The rest are zombies.
The zombie Pokemon. Okay. Thank you, Bob. I'm really looking forward to Pikachu saying, "Hail, Team Rocket."
Well, of course. I mean, they're the only form of society left.
Oh.
Yeah, Team Rocket's the last bastion of defense against these zombie Pokemon.
It's humanity's last hope. Gotcha. Thank you very much. Dr. Aggro.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to condescendingly compare your game to some sort of Cal Arts-esque cartoon on television right now, what would it be?
She-Ra.
That was quick.
It's the Netflix She-Ra. I mean, that's gonna be in the design doc. I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay, thank you very much. Quick and to the point. I appreciate it. KZ.
Yeah.
Now, I understand coming to your games with expectations that it's like Final Fantasy, let alone like Final Fantasy VI is, as I'm reading here, entitled so I'm not going to assume that about your game. What is the core gameplay?
You'll immediately understand, because when we announce it at a big conference, we're going to say this is the Final Fantasy VI remake for next generation. Which will, of course, recreate the iconic them walking in the Magitech armor with visual work CG. Remake will appear, and then 6 months later, we'll show you what the real title of it is and what the game looks like.
I'm excited to buy a Magitech Pop.
But yes, what was your original question? I just needed to fire my gun.
No, that was. What's the moment-to-moment gameplay?
The moment-to-moment gameplay is you as a Final Fantasy VI Funko Pop will be running around an overworld, engaging in some epic action RPG battles with no form of tactics whatsoever. It will be the basically no input delay for your actions as we are running this 4K ray traced on Unity.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
It's yeah. All right. Phil, I have an incredibly important question, probably the most important question anyone could ever ask you about your pitch. I hope you're prepared.
Sure.
I'm going to need a full list of Kirby's friends that die viscerally.
Well, you see, all of Kirby's friends will be reimagined in this game as, other experiments.
Okay.
And they will all be boss fights where Kirby has to envelop them and destroy them and subsume them into his own being, because this Kirby does not have a gender identity. It is a mass of sentience and memories.
I see.
So as you slowly devour and kill Rick, Koo, Choo Choo, Pitch, Meta Knight, King Dedede, or their new reimagined forms, Kirby will absorb their personalities and memories, being a horrific ball of emotions and fractured memories of loved ones and histories that he believes are his own, but these things they don't know what it is, and they just can't handle it, and are you will hear and if you just pause and set down the controller, you will constantly hear their shrieks coming out of the controller.
That's really Kino. Thank you. Gentlemen, I've decided that I'm going to let you ask each other questions right now. You get to ask your opponents one question each. So you each get to ask 3 questions. We're going to go ahead and start with Phil. Phil, start questioning.
Bob.
Uh-huh.
Will the bodies of established Pokemon characters be graphically on display somewhere in the game?
Yes, of course. You will see various Nurse Joys horribly murdered. You'll find like a whole field of their corpses.
Okay, that's what I'm coming to this game for. That's what I'm coming to Pikachu with a gun for. Dr. Aggro.
Yes, sir.
Is your game voiced? And if so, who is voicing the protagonist?
We do plan for most of our game to be voiced. The protagonist right now is being voiced by the Twitter user that has submitted the script for the game. They have wished to remain anonymous. We know them only by their handle, which is lowercase x, capital X, dreaming elegy, capital X, lowercase x. Elegy, I feel I should note, is spelled wrong. They have assured us that they are saving up to buy a broadcast quality microphone.
Oh no!
And we have seen no need to either question or check up on that.
Hey, if it works for Sean Schemmel. And KZ.
I have ideas.
What will the battle system be like in Funko Fantasy 6, the remake? Why?
I want you to imagine with me here a questionably experienced Western game developer utilizing the power of Unity, 4K, ray traced, and their approximation of ease bump combat.
I'm gonna puke.
Ugh. No further questions.
Okay. Thank you for such good questions, Phil.
You're welcome.
We're gonna go ahead and move on to KZ. KZ, go ahead and question your foes. I look forward to it.
Bob, who's composing your game?
KZ, there is no music in my game.
You know what I was scared about? I thought you were about to say that I am.
Yeah. I'm not that cruel. But yeah, no, this is an atmospheric horror game. It's going to have ambient sounds.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Oh. I thought he was going to say some guy from Hollywood who doesn't normally get credit for the movies he's worked on.
Aggro.
Convincing dolphin sound.
I'm going to need you to describe to me bit by bit what the second to last trailer of your game will be like 6 months before launch.
Well, we're going to open on the same quiet beach scene we've used in the last 6 story trailers. We are then going to cut to the main character asleep in their bed, tossing and turning, a full 2 frames of animation. There will be a lightning strike from outside, and we will hard cut to the like what we're calling the hidden gem in the game, because in addition to the enthralling narrative of self-discovery, at the conclusion of every chapter, each chapter representing a day in the life of your main character, they go to sleep and have a dream, which is expressed in the game as a level from the original Echo the Dolphin. And your and your score at the end of that level will determine the rate and type of progression your dolphinification takes in the next chapter.
Oh my god.
So we're gonna hard cut to a few scenes from those levels being played.
What have I done?
The shock shot of your character awakening in bed with dorsal fins for both hands. And then we're just gonna cut to like black background, white text, just throwing them at the screen, blurbs of praise for this game that isn't out yet from people who haven't played it.
Thank you, Dr. Aggro.
Feel.
Yes.
How will your game utilize the Nintendo Switch HD Rumble?
Well, you see, the rumble will get stronger and stronger as you consume someone. The hideous pink mash of flesh and teeth grinding away at their form, pulling them into the hideous multi-toothed maw. The shaking will just get more and more intense. It will break 30% of Joy-Cons.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to sleep now.
Okay, that might be safe, but I'm not sure. Dr. Aggro, you get to ask questions next.
KZ, I'm going to need you to wake up for a minute.
Oh no, it's a nightmare.
We've all conceived of and said a lot of horrible things here today.
Yes.
But my next question I ask out of concern for you most of all, because while other Final Fantasies might be more popular, I don't believe there's a more hardcore death cult fan base out there than the one for Final Fantasy VI. So what I'm asking you is, what company have you contracted to build the Fallout bunker you are going to spend the rest of your life in after you do this?
Well, thanks to world events, no one's gonna come after us. It's too dangerous.
The collapse of society will make me, an evil executive, safer.
Yes.
But thankfully, you did say like teams and stuff. That I do have the developer here listed, which of course is Ace Team. You may know them from such titles as Soul Seraph.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed like they were really good at doing like fantasy style revivals because that game looked really good.
Here I figured with their horrifying body horror art style, they were in Bob's or Phil's game.
Right?
Well, you know, we need to combine that with the Funko Pop aesthetic. So when you get to that final battle, as it's climbing up this mass of 45 Funko Pops, as you hear Dancing Mad Play, composed by Richard Jacques, composer of Sonic Chronicles The Dark Brotherhood.
Whoa. Don't you diss Richard Jacques.
And Hasbro Family Game Night. And iToy Play 2. It's going to be really good. I'm seizing up.
Good. Go back to sleep.
Okay.
So, Bob,
What do you need?
in this game, in which Pikachu has a gun,
Uh-huh.
I gotta ask because you've got this slate of 15 other Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
Are bullets steel type because they're technically a metal, or are they rock type because they aren't actually steel?
There'll be various ammo types, so you'll be able to find different things to put in your gun.
That always works out well, cramming random shit into a gun.
Yeah, it's a specialized gun for Pikachu.
Quick follow-up question, Bob.
Uh-huh.
It's a specialized Pikachu gun.
Are berries in your game, and are they an ammo type?
Sure.
Put a lot of thought into that one. Okay.
Oh, I was hoping they'd be like herbs in Resident Evil.
You just have to shoot your own leg, and that's how you heal.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Feel,
Yes.
do you have a plan down the road after the breakout success of this game that you're making here for implementing these characterization and gameplay style changes into Kirby's representation in the Super Smash Bros. Series?
Oh, well, you see, this game will be part of a groundbreaking deal between Nintendo and Microsoft. It will be developed by Ninja Theory, and
no.
part of the deal
sorry.
involves all existing Kirby games being removed from the eShop, and Kirby and Smash Bros. Ultimate being patched out for this new one.
I didn't mean for this to happen.
Look what you did.
Thank you, Mr. Feel. I'd like to think that I didn't deserve that, but
Well, Bob,
Uh-huh.
you've had a lot of time to think about what questions you're going to ask your opponents.
Sure.
So it is now your turn.
All right. Dr. Aggro?
haven't we all said enough?
Yes.
Go on.
But I need to know exactly how poorly emulated your Echo the Dolphin regular stage is going to be.
I'm going to puke. This is awful.
In order to preserve a consistent gameplay feel in the let's call it graphically unintensive surrounding environment, we have capped the emulation for the original Echo levels at 10 frames. But a consistent 10 frames, and we feel that change will be really not noticeable to a modern audience.
Sure. Okay.
Wait, it's in a frame? Like, do we get to see dream stuff around it or something?
Oh yeah, we have a 2-frame like cloudy border around the whole thing.
Oh, that totally makes sense. Makes it all just fit together.
Oh yeah.
KZ,
Yes.
I'm actually very hyped for your idea with all these pop figures. I need to know.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Give me 10 pop figures.
10 pop figures.
Yep, the ones that you'll sell. Let me buy.
the ones that you'll actually get to buy. Well, of course, we got your main party ones. So you got your Terra, you got your Edgar, Locke, Gao, as I've already mentioned. We have the giant mass at the end of the game for the final boss sequence. That's 45 on its own.
Is that 45 separately or a pack? Is it just like a Lego set full of Funkos?
Yeah, am I gonna have to go to multiple retailers? How many Hot Topics do I hit up to get this one?
Yes, you're gonna have to go to Kmart to get the base. The base is gonna be like this giant like triangle thing with a bunch of slots in it, and you'll be able to slot in the different aspects of it, which are all at different retailers. We've got Kefka, which we really wanted to work hard on this one. So there's actually 3 different designs based on the different phases Kefka will have throughout the game, where we've designed them in partnership with Insane Clown Posse.
Oh, well, good.
That makes sense.
Yes, because we thought, well, honestly, clown villain doesn't really make that much sense, and if we're going to dredge up a game where clown villain is a thing, we might as well capitalize and go with the Juggalo market. So it's so instead of poisoning Cyan's family with poison, it's Fago.
Oh, okay.
Cyan's poison with Fago. Okay, here we go.
Great.
Naturally, they will do songs. They will do their own rendition of Kefka's.
You know, I'm not even sure if that was 10, but please stop.
Big Gil Rustless.
Hype. If you think I don't want to hear ICP cover Kefka's theme, you are wrong.
Every time I speak, I'm punching myself.
Fucking potions. How do they work?
I think I keep forgetting what your game is to protect myself. Can you remind me what you're making?
Yes, Experiment K, a reboot of the Kirby franchise where you play a horrific biological experiment that devours others and subsumes their personality into their own. Now, what's your question?
Oh no, I was worried that was right. Let's see.
I thought you were just using that so you wouldn't have to ask a real question.
No, this hurts.
It's fine. It took so long to remember KZ's because I forgot what he was making earlier.
What, Final Funko Fantasy VI? The 4K next-gen remake of Final Fantasy VI everyone's been waiting for?
This is literally the best part of making you guys question each other because I'm taking notes.
Okay.
I'm like, let's see what they remember.
Will you get any weapons in your game?
No, because your only weapon is your hideous biomass. Although as you devour others, you may get new abilities. Like you devour an army captain because they send in the military to try and stop you. You're just obliterating a whole city. So getting all his memories of weaponry allows you to spawn guns that shoot teeth and bone shards.
Okay, great.
Unfortunately, the memories of his estranged wife will torment you throughout the entire game.
Damn it.
Whew. All right. That's everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now,
Who won?
up until now, you all have been stabbing fans and the audience and each other. But now it is my turn to truly stab all of you.
What?
Your drawing prompt for today. I want each of you to draw the composer for your game.
What?
I need to see a portrait. You have 6 minutes.
I said I didn't have one. Oh no.
Well, it looks like your job's done.
That makes yours really easy.
Your 6 minutes start now.
Okay. Time to Google him. You fucking asshole.
Fuck you, Dan. But I have to send an apology to these people, and I don't even like them.
And time. Well, I'm very excited to see your drawings, everyone. I feel like this is important and will definitely sell me on your projects.
I feel like you're a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and start with Mr. Feel. Mr. Feel, can I see your composer?
Of course.
This is the band Noisia.
Who is this?
The band Noisia. They worked on DMC Devil May Cry.
Oh my god. This is such a good portrait. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull up a real image of them to just compare and contrast some things one moment. Thank you. This is really good. You get the idea that they're really not into your game pitch, but they'll take that paycheck. Oh, thank you, Mr. Feel. We're gonna go next to Dr. Aggro. Dr. Aggro, could you show me your composer for your game?
I can. As I pull up the file, an anecdote. I haven't used MS Paint since 1999, and a bunch of shit has changed around in that time.
Oh no!
So this is early 2000s alternative rock juggernaut something corporate.
Yes, that's a good deep pull.
Whose music will make up the entirety of the game's soundtrack.
That seems incredibly fitting. Incredibly fitting. Oh man. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Aggro. We're gonna go next to Bob.
Sure, I drew something.
Now I'm not certain. You sound like you're lying.
This is the Foley expert ghost. He works at our studio. We can't figure it out.
Damn.
Celery.
Yeah, no celery.
Haunting.
Celery's impressive. Fully expert ghost. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Lastly, we'll go to KZ to see his composer. KZ, I'd love to see your composer. I have no idea who it is.
So I had a couple of accidents in assembling this. I also made the mistake of technically having multiple composers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Because I told you one. Because I told you one of them was Richard Jock, who did the Sonic Chronicles
And Sonic R. And Jet Set Radio.
and Hasbro Family Game Night.
Yeah.
And I also included ICP, so naturally, I needed reference images, and this is the best I could come up with.
Okay. Thank you very much for including the reference images. That's same piece of time in editing.
Oh my god.
The artistry
as you can see, I had the most time on the first one, which was Richard, and I feel like I really got it. Unfortunately, unclosed lines meant that the paint can kind of just went everywhere.
I'm
I like
seeing
it.
that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a powerful image.
Somehow I made 6 layers out of this.
The paint can is not to be taken lightly.
No.
It is not. Neither are his shaky hands.
I think you captured the essence of Richard Jacques. That's what I think you did here.
Thank you. If anyone wants to use him as your icon on the internet, feel free.
I remember, the longer the icon of Richard Jacques remains on the internet, the more powerful it becomes.
Fear him.
Oh, man. Okay, guys. Maybe my questions haven't been generous. Maybe I didn't ask you something about your game. You just need to get out before we close this out. So I'm going to give you each one thing you didn't tell me about your game. You get to tell me that, okay? This is the moment. This is the bow that needs to tie it all together. So we're going to start with Bob. Bob, tell me one thing about your game pitch you've been struggling to tell my stubborn ass since the beginning of this that you can only now get out.
Well, the reason behind my choosing Rob Liefeld is the artist for my game. This is post Pikachu having horrible mutating radio waves turn him into a more human-like Pikachu.
Oh no.
So his hardcore rock aesthetic really shows through.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
DMC Dante with Pikachu's head.
Well, imagine that, but it's a giant muscles that make 0 sense.
Yeah, it's drawn wrong.
Yes, it's drawn completely wrong. but it looks really cool with his pistol and shotgun.
Is his gun also drawn wrong since Rob Liefeld drew it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. I can see why you really wanted to get that out there. KZ, we're going to go to you next. What's the one thing you've been struggling to tell me this whole time?
2 hours into the game, it no longer is Final Fantasy VI, and it's for some reason Final Fantasy III with Funko Pops. And then we'll shift back to Final Fantasy VI during the final 4 hours of the game, where we'll end a third into Final Fantasy VI.
Oh.
Well, that's powerful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to go to Feel next. Feel, you have to have something in there. Let it out.
Well, Experiment K will have many voices hearing throughout the game, the people he devours, or it devours, rather. But it, to really sell that it has no concrete identity, gender or otherwise, it will be voice acted by 2 people and will merge their voices together, sort of like fusions in Dragon Ball. So Experiment K, the new Kirby, will be voiced by both Troy Baker and Ronda Rousey.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Acting and not acting.
Wow. That's incredible. You're going to get so much inflection and emotion in the read, and then you're also not. That's good stuff. Jesus Christ.
Well, they need to sync up properly or else it won't work. So Troy Baker has to not act.
Yes, Troy Baker is a good enough actor to not act.
Dr. Aggro, there has to be something about your game you've had pent up this whole time, and I'm inviting you to let it free.
One of the most important core selling points in our project is that we believe that if a good story is worth telling, then it's worth telling exhaustively. Which is why, with current projections, we are slated for an average game length of 150 hours. As you follow the main character, Eric Dauphin, from the first day of 10th grade to, depending on story choices made, either college graduation or your first day at a Supermax prison.
You don't make it to the ocean in either option?
I mean, yeah, but you come back.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Dr. Aggro. Oh man, this episode has been so full of intricate, visceral detail. I'm gonna have to review all of these notes and then come back to tell you guys who's gonna win this episode of Armchair Devs. Kiwami. Okay, gentlemen, I've reviewed my notes. Before I announce who's the winner of this episode of Armchair Devs Kiwami, I want to give you some feedback on your games.
All right.
We're going to go in order. Mr. Feel,
Yes.
there is a lot about your game that will definitely piss off Kirby fans. It seemingly is just the worst parts of gaming. It has a very 7th gen energy about it, where it just seems like they completely missed the point. And it's made by Ninja Theory, rebooting a pre-existing franchise. This seems like a safe bet. In fact, normally I state a disadvantage of your pitch, how it won't achieve the goals we have here at Hell. But none of these notes actually are detracting from the goal of generating human misery. So your pitch is seemingly fine. KZ.
Yes.
As we know, Satan invented the Funko Pop. So I really enjoy your pitch of fusing one of the most fanatical fan bases in all of gaming, Final Fantasy VI stands, with Funko Pop the least respected thing in a GameStop?
It was really important to me to once again hammer home. This will be announced in a CG trailer as Final Fantasy VI Remake, and you will know 6 months later that it is Final Funko Fantasy VI.
I really appreciate that no one in their fucking right mind will know who the hell Ace Team is. The combination of these factors...
They will not be in anywhere documented. It will just Square Enix, and you'll have to, dig.
And then they'll just, after they find it, they'll have to look them up and be like, what? That doesn't make sense. There's a lot about that that's truly heinous. And I feel like you've really taken Funko Pops themselves to the next level with the dancing mad boss that slots together where you have to assemble the Funko.
Yeah, while you're hearing ICP.
It's really quite brilliant. Bob.
Uh-huh.
Pikachu shouldn't have a gun. And your boldness in giving him one is truly brutal genius. There is something incredibly nuanced and subtle in exactly how brain dead your pitch is and how cynical of a childlike mentality could generate such a thing. I like that there's a field full of Nurse Joy corpses. That's definitely going to upset basically everyone. Well, yeah, I'm Satan, as I revealed in this last segment.
Fuck, I should have asked about Brock.
And Rob Liefeld, people are never going to shut the fuck up about him. So I really appreciate you just front and center. He's designing Pikachu, who is now buff and huge and disgusting. Dr. Aggro.
Mm-hmm.
You've combined a fine tapestry of things that will upset people, from the inexplicable Netflix She-Ra art style to the coming-of-age game that everyone hates seeing in the middle of a games conference, to Echo the Dolphin, which doesn't fit this shit at all. I appreciate you beating people over the head with your Kafka books on the shelf, which I assume will be in a very early trailer to give subtle hints on the direction the game takes eventually.
Excited about the studio microphone.
If anything, I would have to say your pitch's most brilliant point is that it's 150 hours of not shutting the fuck up. And that's
content value.
Yes. And it shows a real commitment to thinking you're smart. That you have something important to say. With all of that out of the way, I'm proud to announce the winner of this episode of Armchair Devs Kiwami is Mr. Feel. Mr. Feel,
Yes!
Kirby Experiment K is going to generate misery from a completely happy fan base, which it's about fucking time they get there.
Yeah! I knew it! I knew as soon as he picked Kirby, Game would pick him. He's like, fuck Kirby.
No, these Kirby fans, they've been too happy. We need to generate absolute
I chose it specifically to upset Eric.
I knew it!
It is like the perfect
shit.
awful pitch, honestly. Like, after hearing that, I was like, nothing can beat this.
The Kirby fans have had it too nice. They're too malleable in what they find to be an acceptable Kirby game. We will teach them what suffering means, Mr. Feel. I would like to welcome you as an acolyte in hell. Do you have anything to say about your accomplishment?
They said they complained, oh, Star Allies doesn't have enough content, but now they can't even buy Star Allies.
Oh no!
I would like to thank all of you for watching Armchair Devs Kiwami. Thank you for listening to this episode of Armchair Devs. Podcasts like this and Big Think Dimension are only possible with viewer support. If you'd like to help us in the fight for good content, please show us your support over on patreon.com/gbpodcasts, where you can also listen to the extended pitches that couldn't make it into this episode. This month's GigaBoots videos have erupted into reality thanks to the money magic of our executive producers, Esme, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Spaceman Spiff, Star Falcon, Danny Richardson, Red Blaze 27, Zenki Kongetsu, and Adam Admar. Thank you very much to our executive producers.
And also these guys.
If you want to become powerful like our executive producers, you can head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.